Nigeria's steel plant set to produce 1 million metric tons of steel annually. External reserves dropped by $35.67 billion. Banks' mortgage loans hit 77.61 billion naira. Plus, on this episode of Business Express, we will be taking a look at how SMEs can leverage technology for growth in the new normal, which is the digital economy. Details of this and more on Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. The federal government of Nigeria says it is expecting an annual output of 1 million metric tons of steel from its $1.5 billion steel plant in Kaduna. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed stated this while inspecting the steel plant facility at the African Natural Resources and Mines Limited in Kaduna. The minister said the $1.5 billion steel plant, which is now near completion, would produce 1 million metric tons of steel annually and emphasized that the facility is critical to the nation as it is tactical to the looming steel revolution in Nigeria. The plant, which is built to commence the first phase of production in the mining of iron ore and production of direct reduced iron in a matter of months, is expected to produce 1 million metric tons of steel annually. Towards improving service delivery and efficiency of government to deliver on its mandates, the federal government, through the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, has inaugurated a standard operating procedure for the national planning arm of the ministry to ensure quality output and increased productivity. The SOP is to be adopted as a working document by the ministry.
It is my firm belief that the systematic change management prevents many problems before they arise and also offers a method for dealing with them while minimizing the impact of the problems.
Nigeria's external reserves fell for the fourth consecutive week to $35.67 billion, even as the naira depreciated to 462 naira per dollar in the parallel market. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) shows that the reserves fell to $35.672 billion from $35.725 billion. This translated to week-on-week decline of $53 million, more than 100% increase from the $23 million, according to the CBN data. The reserves have been on the downward trend for 4 weeks since September 17th. And moving on, latest figures obtained from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that banks gave out 77.61 billion naira mortgage loans in 3 years. The NBS stated in its selected banking sector report for second quarter that 19.83 billion naira, 32.09 billion naira and 26.68 billion naira were given out in 2017, 2018 and 2019. According to the NBS, non-performing loans in the banking sector amounted to 1.05 trillion naira as of December 2019. The Bureau also gave the gross loans of the banking sector as 17.56 trillion naira in the review period. The yuan held near a two-year high against the dollar in offshore trade on Tuesday on signs of a robust economic recovery in China. However, doubts about a U.S. stimulus deal capped gains for other risk currencies. Let's now see how the naira is exchanging for other international currencies. And on Surviving COVID-19 series for today, we would be taking a look at a young lady whose entrepreneurial skills in fashion designing soars, and she is carving a niche for herself.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
I actually hoped I was going to get a job with one of the NGOs around, but it happened that I did not get. And then I fell back to the Said I learned on camp. I learned shoemaking. I went into leatherworks, shoemaking and bags, but I wasn't able to thrive with the shoe. Maybe I was not too interested, but I was able to make waves with the bag, and I stayed back after my NYC. I'm making bags and I am earning money enough to sustain myself. I love the fact that I'm here, and I love the fact that I'm doing something by myself and I'm earning money for myself. Funding has been the challenge I have. Anyway, medium and small scale business generally in Nigeria has always had the challenge of funding, particularly to me. If I'm able to access a million naira, I'm sure I'll go a very long way, because I've had situations where people would call me that they need certain number of bags and they would want to pay on delivery, and sometimes I don't have the money to do that. Somehow I lost out on business in that situation, and it has not been funny. Well, in this country, I don't think there are jobs anywhere. It's high time we create these jobs. There's no job anywhere to go and pick. Just create something and do. That's my piece of advice for anyone waiting for a white-collar job. Just get up and do something. There are so many things to do in this country.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Well, with businesses around the world continuing to grapple with the realities of a disrupted landscape on account of the COVID-19 pandemic, the application of technology in new ways have been identified as the way out, if they are to thrive in the new normal. To shed more light on this is a digital economist, Igwe Crescent. Igwe Crescent, you're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Igwe, let's begin with, can SMEs actually leverage technology for growth in the new normal?
Yes. The world is getting global. The world is becoming a global village. So definitely SMEs can leverage on it.
And how can they do that?
Okay, practical application, there are so many ways right now. People are able to reach new markets using the technology. Unlike before, where, let's say, I run a small shopping business where I sell clothing, like the lady who just came online right now. If she applies digital marketing into it, she would be able to, from her comfort of her location, reach someone in far away in another region of Nigeria without even having to get personal contact with the customer. And these things can be done via online. It can be done using platforms like all the social medias, even websites. There are so many ways to do that. So yes, reaching new markets is one of the ways it can be done.
Okay, in reaching this new market, you will agree with me that funding for SMEs has always been a challenge. Is that about to change? And in your opinion, how can that be addressed?
Okay, the issue of funding is a very serious one when you talk about digital economy, knowing fully well that most of expenses done on the internet are in dollars. Now, the Naira is currently not doing so good against the dollar, but then if funding comes in, yes, it is a welcome development because it will help foster the reach of the market. So let's say someone like me, I want to advertise on Facebook. Facebook will charge me in dollars, okay? And me having to do that means that I will require more capital in Naira. So funding is a very essential part of the engine to foster the adoption of digital economy for MSMEs.
Okay, how can young entrepreneurs actually access this new market you talk about?
Okay, now there are retargeting, what we call retargeting in the digital world. Now, the retargeting requires you to work on what people are interested in. So let's say I'm selling a bag right now. I already know that most of the bag, depending outside the traveling bags, will be hugely needed by the ladies. Okay. Now, when you bring in digital inversion of it, you know you're going to be targeting more of the women into your marketing. So in the process of doing that, you are expanding your reach and you're reaching more people. And from there, you're able to filter out, okay, this person is going to be interested in what I have to sell, and this person is not going to be interested in what I have to. There are steps to it anyways. It's not just something you throw out there on the internet. There are steps to it, and eventually you're going to be meeting new market and more sales to be coming in.
Okay, no doubt COVID-19 has come with its own challenges, but it has also availed a lot of opportunities for SMEs to reimagine and recreate businesses. How can that be easily achieved?
Okay, I think I have to be practical in this section because we at our company, we made a quick response to COVID. So we noticed that when schools were shut down and lots of others, there was we had to do a response, and the turnout from the customers was pretty impressive because they had to start learning online. So MSMEs, people are able to build, let's say for teachers, for example, for over 6 months, schools haven't been opened for now, but I can tell you lots of thousands of Nigerians have been learning on the internet. So these things can foster online. People are able to stay on their homes, and businesses are being made delivered to their comfort of their home. So I'm in my room right now because of the protest. I didn't go to work, but then I can stay here and make order, and something from the market can get to me right in my house here. So even all of this now, businesses being able to make delivery from their shops to my house is that they're making a response to the COVID, not just COVID alone, but to the digital economy. So people are taking advantages of that. And with or without COVID, digital economy would definitely thrive.
Okay, how can it be sustained beyond COVID-19 period? And do you see it actually adding up to the per capita income of Nigerians?
Okay, yeah, it can be sustained. I think one of the major challenges with my over 8 years experience on the internet, one of my things I've noticed is the trust. When people, if you are able to establish trust with whatever thing you're doing online, people will trust you. So let's say for Jumia, for example, when I go to Jumia to make an order, people don't ask questions. But if there's a new e-commerce platform that just sprinkled out from nowhere and want to sell to people online, they should focus on gaining the trust of the market they are targeting. Once there is trust, there's no problem online. Once people are able to trust you, that's fine. So with that, there's going to be sustainability in the system.
And are you seeing ongoing efforts at cybersecurity bringing in this trust?
Yes, I think more needs to be done on the cybersecurity. When we have enough cybersecurity, yes, definitely that shouldn't be a problem. And I see people who make lots of mistakes online. I think I have to say it because it is open. Please, don't go around sharing your delicate details on online platforms you don't trust. I see people giving out their bank details on the internet. So before you do that, it has to be with a reputable company you trust, because these are some of the ways your cyber security can be breached. If you're able to have your details confidentially held with you, you don't just have it anywhere, and a third party doesn't get the opportunity to use your identity to do the wrong thing on the internet. So yes, cybersecurity is very important, and MSMEs should also look at that aspect while trying to build a business on the internet. It's very, very important.
Okay, let's look at government support for SMEs. The federal government recently flagged off a conditional grant scheme where each beneficiary would have access to the sum of 50,000 naira to start their own businesses. How can they leverage on the digital space to optimize these resources coming in from government?
Okay. One of the things I always advocate for is learning. So if you're getting funding and you still don't know what you want to do with that money, it still won't be profitable for you. But when you have the right knowledge and you know what to do with the money, so as an SME, you should focus, while you're looking for funding, also look at learning and gaining the experience. Reach out to people who know how there are growth marketers, there are copywriters out there. Get partners, people that understand how to reduce running costs on the internet. So let's say I get 50,000 naira, 50,000 naira is roughly about $100. With $100 into your targeting on your marketing, you should be able to reach a pretty good number of people, and there should be sales coming in. But then if you don't know how to use this channel, you see that the retargeting and the way you're trying to reach your new market using the digital method is going to cost you so much. So while SMEs are getting funding from the government, they should also focus on getting the knowledge and having the right skills it requires for them to grow.
Thank you so very much for sharing your thoughts. I think the takeaway for us is not just about the funding coming in, but skills acquisition and understanding of the market. It's key and very necessary. Thank you so very much for joining us, Mr. Igwe Crescent.
Thank you so much.
Okay, moving on. Indigenous companies in Nigeria have continued to deepen their activities in the oil and gas sector with the signing into law of the Nigerian Local Content Act. Minister of State Petroleum Resources Timipre Silva, who visited Lee Engineering and Construction Limited in Delta State, says the federal government will intensify partnerships with indigenous companies across the oil and gas value chain.
By supplying, and they've now graduated to the point where they are beginning to produce and to build factories, and that is where Nigeria has to get to. We completely support them, and whatever we can do as government to support the growth of Lee Engineering will be done.
We have trained a lot of people, invest a lot of money in training, a lot of money in technology transfer, so the place needs to be fully utilized by the government. As long as the country is an oil producing country, I don't see any reason why we will not be patronized.
Meanwhile, OPEC and allied producers on Monday pledged action to support the oil market as concerns mounted that a second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic will affect demand, and an earlier plan to raise output from next year would further depress prices. Chairman of the forum and Saudi Arabia Energy Minister Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman said no one should doubt the group's commitment to providing support, while Russia and Algeria agreed on the fact that a planned output increase from January could be reversed if necessary.
And we have had a lot of mixed messages over the past month. Rather, I want to underline the determination of OPEC Plus to pursue the strategy we have decided on and see it through to full fruition. This is what we have decided unanimously as a group, and that is what we should keep in sharp focus.
OPEC and OPEC Plus have capped output since January 2017 to try to support prices and reduce inventories, with only Nigeria and Iraq overproducing in August and September, the meeting noted. For now, OPEC is reducing production by 7.7 million barrels per day, down from cuts totaling 9.7 million barrels per day enforced from May 1st to August 1st. And moving on, oil prices slipped for a fourth straight day on Tuesday on worries about a resurgence of coronavirus cases globally, stifling a promising recovery in fuel demand, while growing output from Libya adds to supply in the market. Brent crude futures fell 30 cents to $42.32 a barrel after falling 31 cents on Monday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures slid 26 cents to $40.57 a barrel after losing 5 cents on Monday. And in the commodity market, gold prices inched lower early on Tuesday as caution set in ahead of deadline to reach an agreement on a new U.S. coronavirus stimulus, diminishing the metal's appeal of being a hedge against inflation. Stocks in major Asia-Pacific markets dipped in Tuesday morning trade as investors react to the October fixing of China's benchmark lending rate. Over to Moplang Dakok for details.
Stocks in major Asia markets were mixed in Tuesday trade as investors react to the October fixing of China's benchmark lending rate. Mainline Chinese stocks were mixed, with the Shanghai Composite down 0.15%, while the Shenzhen Component added 0.433%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index sat fractionally lower. In Japan, the Nikkei 225 declined 0.44%. European stocks opened lower on Tuesday morning as concerns about the coronavirus in Europe and a deadline for U.S. fiscal stimulus to be agreed weighed on market sentiment. The Pan-European Stock 600 was down around 0.15% shortly after the opening bell, with most sectors and major bourses in negative territory. U.S. stock futures rose in early Tuesday morning trade ahead of the deadline for a new fiscal stimulus deal from Washington. Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 79 points, while those for the S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 also traded in mildly positive territory. African markets are also expected to react to the deadline for U.S. fiscal stimulus in Tuesday trade as South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 and Namibia Overall Index were negative in early morning trade. With Global Markets Update, Muplang Dakok.
With the global market updates, we end this edition of Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us on Twitter, and the handle is NTA News Now. Don't forget to use the hashtag #It'sBizX. Be safe out there. Business Express returns Wednesday at 3 p.m. I am Benny Adams saying, stay safe.